My mom is on her way home, and she wants me out by the time she get here, all because I didn't cook dinner for her raggedy ass son!
I came across this very upsetting video that showed how broken mother-daughter relationships seem to be, and how they are failing and why. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand that there are some mother-daughter relationships that work and are wonderful, but unfortunately, this is not the topic at hand or the situation we're talking about. I've had my fair shares of terrible experiences with my mother, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that has experienced that. That is not to say that my mother is an awful person or an evil person, but it is to say that seems to be a factor of life that mother and daughter relationships just have a level of uncomfortability about them, a level of lack of care about them. But one thing is clear, that there's definitely a favoritism when it comes to male children versus female children. I once heard a story in India about a decade or two ago of how the female children were the ones that were left behind or destroyed, all in the sake that the parents could find an heir, a male child that can bring honor to the family. And unfortunately, India is not the only place where this has happened. It has happened in China, it has happened in parts of Africa, it's still happening even till this day. The female child just seems not to be valued, not to be cared about, not to be considered. They're there to do menial jobs, be a servant of sorts, but not there to actually be cared for or loved. And we wonder why, when these female children who have experienced these types of experiences grow up, they find themselves in situations where they're being harmed, where they're being not considered. And we coin terms like pick me, or coin terms like man hungry, to invalidate the experiences that these women have gone through and what they may have been taught through their lives about what to expect from love. There's no doubt that this girl is going to have a difficult life. It is clear that she has nowhere to go, which can only mean that her father is not a participant in her being raised. He's not contributing in her being raised. But I can never really validate that because I don't know her story. All I know is that there is a young girl out there, probably not alone in this experience, who finds herself completely without parental guidance in a world full of lions, unable to navigate exactly how to survive, and having to teach herself what survival means in a world that doesn't care. I wish we could all take care of girl children and value them just as the world needs to value them. We bring life into the world. We are the reason why there are 8 billion people in this world. I really hope that we learn to care for the girl child, care for the contribution she brings to the reality and to the world, and recognize that if it's not for her, then there's no world to call home. There is no experience to be had because what she contributes was never made. We can boast and claim how men actually create the world, but without the female girl, without the female child, without the female, there is no life. There is no home. And there is nothing to come back to that brings warmth. And I wonder if we know that. I wonder if we recognize that we need to treat our females, our daughters, better. But the most hurtful part of this whole entire story is that it is not males, even though they contribute. It is not males that go on to mistreat the female child, although in some cases it can be. But it is rather the females that created and birthed the female child that seem to have an affinity, a sort of detesting of what they brought to this world, packaged as a female. It is sad to say, and even sadder to realize and recognize, that we live in a world where, I think his name is B.B. King, was right when he said, "It is a man's world. It is a man's world." But we forget that he also said, "But it will mean nothing without a woman or a girl." Can we be kinder? Can we be more loving? Can we be more gentle towards the female child? Because they bring knowledge and blueprint to the next generation. They're the ones who labor in many ways than one. They're the ones who raise, teach, grow. Can we be kinder, more gentle, more loving to the female child?